This is a heat map of Sydney. The hundreds of different coloured shapes you see are the suburbs of Sydney. Each suburb has a different shade, and the shade in this case is based on the demand to supply ratio. The DSR, for short, is an overall measure of a suburb's investment potential. It is a popular metric for heat maps. The suburbs with a higher DSR are more prominent. That is, they have a richer shade, they stand out more. These are hot suburbs. The faded polygons are cold suburbs. They have a lower DSR score. Note that I'm in trial mode, so these shadings are not based on real data. The idea of the heat map is to see where the hot areas in a city are, to find clusters of hot suburbs. A single isolated one-off hot suburb may be a statistical anomaly, but a cluster of suburbs suggests there's something big going on in that area. An isolated hot suburb may have only a few properties for sale, making it difficult to enter that market. But a cluster of suburbs gives confidence in the area as a whole, and it provides an investor with a bigger pool of properties to buy from. If you hover your mouse over one of the polygons, a pop-up appears showing details about the suburb. You can see the name of the suburb, its demand to supply ratio, and a few other key metrics. This list of metrics can be customised, and I'll show you how to do that later. Over on the left, there is a panel you can use to filter the list of suburbs. I have the DSR selected as a filter. And the filter is in the form of a chart. The chart shows the range of DSRs for each suburb on the map, from the lowest on the left of the chart to the highest on the right. The height of the coloured bars on the chart represent how common it is to find a suburb with a DSR of that value at that bar. I can drag this left slider over to the right to filter out some of the suburbs. As I move the slider further to the right, more suburbs disappear. The range of allowed values for the DSR is narrowing, so the number of suburbs that pass the filter is decreasing. There's a box below the chart on the left where I can enter a minimum value for the DSR rather than use the slider. The Add Filter button allows me to add another filter. I choose the metric to filter by using this drop-down. I want to eliminate suburbs that are out of my price range, so I choose the typical value metric to filter by. I can't spend that much money, so I move the right slider from the maximum value down towards my budget. It can get a bit fiddly with the slider when the price range is quite wide, so I'm going to type in a specific upper value. Instantly, the polygons outside this range are hidden, and that allows me to focus on the remaining areas that suit my budget. You can add filters for other metrics too, but you can only add a filter for a metric if that metric is listed in the pop-ups that appear when you hover your mouse over a suburb. I'll show you how you can choose those metrics in a minute. If you ever get confused about the shading, check the legend in the bottom right corner. It shows what each shade means. In this case, each shade represents a range of demand to supply ratio values. You can also view the map in 3D. This might come in handy for cities that stretch north-south, like Adelaide. And you can switch to dual map view. This creates a duplicate on the right but removes the shaded polygons. This is useful when you are trying to determine where each polygon is. Removing shades makes the named places on the map easier to see, and this helps in getting your bearings if you're not familiar with the area. Okay, so how did I get that heat map report? Here are the criteria I set. Firstly, I limited my heat map to the significant urban area of Sydney. And you can use this drop-down box to choose any large area to heat map. You can choose small areas like postcodes and SA2s as well, but you might only see a couple of shaded polygons in each, so it's best to choose a larger area. The show drop-down allows me to pick something other than suburbs. Let's say I wanted to see data for Sydney's local government areas. I would choose LGA instead of suburb. This will aggregate suburb data to the local government area. A new heat map would only show LGAs, not suburbs. And when hovering over those LGAs, the data that appears in those pop-ups will be the aggregated data for that LGA. Now, if you're at all confused by the different geography types, watch the Getting Started tutorial. There is also a tutorial on our terminology that goes over the different geography types in detail. Now, before I redraw the map, let's make some other changes on the Data tab. The Base Shading On drop-down is defaulted to the demand to supply ratio, but I can pick from any of the metrics we publish. Let's have a look at typical value. I can choose to show data for houses or for units or both combined. It's best to choose one or the other with typical value since units are usually much cheaper than houses. For other metrics like the DSR, you might like to combine both houses and units if you want to get a general idea of the nature of supply and demand for the whole suburb rather than for a particular property type. Now, remember those pop-ups that appeared when I hovered over a polygon on the map? Well, this is where I selected them. You can choose which metrics you want to see in those pop-ups. To add metrics to this list, click on the Add Metrics button. You can drop down a list of metrics and take your pick. To remove a metric, click on the trash can icon. Because I'm already shading by TV, I don't need TV in the list of extra metrics, so I'll remove that one. I'll also get rid of statistical reliability. It's not so relevant when looking at larger geographies like LGAs. The data at the LGA level is usually quite reliable anyway. Note that the metrics listed here will be the only ones you can filter by once you're in the heat map. So make sure you get this list right before requesting the report. I'll generate a new map now with these new criteria. The data to appear in pop-ups will only include the TV and yield. And the map will only show local government areas, not suburbs. As you can see, there are fewer polygons on the map, and those polygons are bigger now. That's because most LGAs are a lot bigger than a suburb. Remember, we are now shading based on typical value. You can see in the legend in the bottom right, the bolder shades are the cheaper LGAs. They have lower typical values. On the left, the typical value appears by default as a filter. At the moment, there is no filtering. It's showing the maximum range. But if I move the right slider to the left, you can start to see the expensive LGAs disappear. Returning the slider to the far right, I can again see all LGAs. Let's add an extra filter. There are only two metrics to filter by, so my only choice is yield. If I set a minimum yield of, say, 3.5%, it removes many of the expensive LGAs. This is because yield is usually higher in cheaper areas. The heat map is a great visual way to find an investment opportunity. Its primary purpose is to identify whole areas with investment potential rather than isolated suburbs. You can find those areas in two ways. By using larger geographies like LGAs or SA3s, or you can look for suburbs and use the shading to identify clusters of suburbs. You can get to the heat map from the home page, obviously, but we recommend navigating to the heat map via suburb search. This will save you a fair bit of money because you can't go heat mapping every city in Australia. You should probably limit your heat maps to at most the top half a dozen cities showing any promise. And how do you know which cities are showing promise? Well, that's where suburb search comes in. Now, here's a suburb search report that I requested earlier. In the suburb search report, you may have noticed that a lot of the hot suburbs are within the same few cities. As I scroll down the list, you can see different suburbs within the same city. So now would be a good time to heat map one of those cities. Clicking on a city opens a navigation window. And you can see the name of the city that I clicked at the top of the navigation page. Some options of what to do next are provided. The most obvious option is at the top, the heat map. A click on this button takes me to the heat map page. You'll notice that the Limit To drop-down has been defaulted to the geography from the navigation page. This saves me from selecting it. The Show drop-down is set to my default. I'll show you how to change that in a minute. On the Data tab, the list of metrics is also set to my default. Remember, these are the ones I see in pop-ups on the heat map. These are the ones I can filter by on the heat map once it is displayed. Navigation from suburb search ensures you don't look at a city that has poor investment options, wasting your money. And it also saves you from typing in the city name again. I mentioned my defaults earlier. Once I select my criteria to be just how I like them, I can save them using this button. You can provide a name for your criteria. The system provides a default name based on your criteria, but it can be a bit long-winded, so you might like to reduce it to something more memorable. Now, I can choose one of these criteria to be my favourite. And if I do, whenever I return to the heat map page, the criteria will be set to my favourite automatically. This means I don't have to re-specify criteria to how I like it every time I return to this page. There are some examples already in the list of saved criteria. These are system-defined examples, so you can't delete them, rename them, or save over them. Click on the Get Quote button to see how much a heat map will cost. If you've already seen the exact same heat map, the quote will show a cost of 0 and the date and time you last saw this report. The quote shows the breakdown of the cost elements, so you know where your money is going. You can save money by looking at larger geographies like LGAs. You can also save money by not including too many metrics in the extra metrics list. Note that the quote while in trial mode may differ slightly from the quote you see when in live mode, and this is because the data is different. The Get Log button shows a list of your recent heat map report requests. Sometimes you want to view a report again that you've already seen. Click on the View button and the criteria will be set to how it was when you first viewed this report. You can now click the Get Data button to view the report again. Alternatively, you can adjust the criteria to see a different version of the report. Note that it does not cost to view the exact same report again, but any change to the criteria will make it a different report.